Ghost Prime's Transformer Reviews. Today we'll be taking a look at the newly released 3-pack of the Rainmakers set. Now this Rainmakers set is, I say, rumored to be Target exclusive. It does not say Target exclusive anywhere on the box like most exclusives do. So this is a 3-pack of repaints of Starscream. They are repaints as in, well, they actually have less paint apps and less colors. It's like they appeared in Season 1, Episode 6, Divide and Conquer of the Generation 1 cartoon. These characters never left Cybertron, and they have their Cybertronian forms in the cartoon, and they make it rain and cause havoc for the Autobots. These are a decent bunch of figures. They have all the same faults that the Starscream figure does. However, I find my joints are a fair bit tighter on these than my Starscream. They are pretty neat, and they are out now at Target. So if you've never had any of the Rainmakers before, these two have not actually had official figures as far as I know. Acid Storm has had a few figures. He's had a Masterpiece, he's had a Classics figure, those of which unfortunately I do not have. And he has this guy all done up in absolutely bright green glory. He's wonderful. I love the bright green on him. So anyway, without any further ado, let's get to the review. Okay, and here we have the box. Now the box is very similar to all the rest of the Siege boxes, albeit it feels a little more cheap than the other ones. The plastic feels a little cheaper, and the cardboard doesn't feel as thick. But they all come packaged in robot mode in here. I apologize, I actually opened the box, and they're kind of a pain to get back in and out. So, in the front, you have the big window with them open. You have all their names. The side is the standard Siege picture. On the other side, which is really cool, that they have them in Tetrajet mode on the side instead of robot mode. It makes sense, they could fit them in this sort of positioning. It looks really good all together here. Now, also one thing I noticed is it doesn't have the same like black light responsive pieces that the other boxes do have. This just has the image. There's nothing superimposed over it. On the back, you have pictures of the figures themselves. You have Acid Storm, Ion Storm, or not Thundercracker, and Nova Storm, or not Sunstorm. They all have their robot and Tetrajet modes. One thing to notice is there's no red here on the wings on any of the figures. They only show up in the box. This is probably due to cost. Same with the box being a little cheaper feeling, is probably due to cost. On the bottom, you have the same legal stuff, and on the top, you have the War for Cybertron Siege logo with the Decepticon logo. Now, one thing I didn't just show you just a second ago is how cheap the box is. If you'll notice, there's a very soft edge. They just kind of wrapped it around here. See if I can get it in the camera. This is a big box. Right there. You can see there's no real hard edge like on the other ones. It's kind of a cheaper made material. Now, these do retail for $79.99 instead of, what would it be, $90 for the 3 Voyager size figures. So they had to cut some corners somewhere, like with the paint and looks like the box. Instruction sheet is basically just like Starscream's, except for it has the pictures on the 3 here in the front. Open it up. Tells you how to transform. On the back, shows where the guns go, and that you could add Battle Masters to it. One thing I would like to have seen on the packaging or in the booklet is a little bit of description, maybe some background about these characters. We were pretty much hurting for some background. I would like if they just gave a little blurb about maybe their personality or something of the sort. It would be really nice to get some canon going on with these, besides just that one episode that they appeared. Now, moving on to the figures themselves. The figures themselves are all repaints of each other and of Starscream. And if you'll notice, all the paint apps are exactly the same. Everything is in the same spot as Starscream. Starscream has all the same wear and tear as all the rest do. They're exactly the same. Even the face, Starscream's scowl, is exactly the same on all 3 of these guys. It would have been nice to get one of them to have a smirk or an expression of sorts, but they're exactly the same. Not that that bothers me too much. They are background characters that were only in one episode, so I understand, but I still would like a little bit more personality to them. All the joints are exactly the same. The chest pieces here do not have a metal pin like Starscream's, and honestly, they're a little tighter on mine than Starscream. Nova Storm is the only one that tends to pop off on one side a little bit like the Starscream does. Now, one of the things that happens on some of these, like my Acid Storm here, is this is a bit loose and sometimes will fall out. It's not that way under the wings. It's like that on my Starscream, however. So it's kind of, this one's the tightest one. These are pretty good. This one's a little loose. Overall, the joints on these are a little bit better than my Starscreams. They are really nice, really tight. To some degree, you know, moving the waist before it'll even move the thigh. So let's do a little quick turnaround of them. All the same detail on all three of the figures. Although I gotta say, one thing I did notice on all of them is that this logo, the Decepticon logo on the wing, on my Starscreams it's the movie version, and on this version is the Generation 1 version, as it should be. So that's just a little change and a fix that they did to these guys. I'm not sure if it's like that on Red Wing. I do not have a Red Wing yet. So I'm going to skip transformation. If you want to see how these guys transform, you could check out my Starscream video. All right, here these guys are in Tetrajet mode. And as you can see, they really look nice in Tetrajet mode. They go wonderful together. So they are compatible with flight stands via this little port. I don't know if you can see it right in there. I don't have any of the aforementioned flight stand, yet I will have some eventually when I get some. Now, this is the only one that gives me a little bit of trouble here. I can't seem to get all these. It's all tabbed in just fine, but I still get a little gap there. It's the only one that really does that to me. The other ones are fine. And all the guns stay in really nicely. They look really good. Now, the back, the chest actually fits a lot better on these one being a solid color than it does on Starscream because it doesn't stand out as much. I actually really dig these. These look very nice. The red would have been kind of nice here on not Thundercracker here. It would be very nice. But I guess I can understand why they went with one color. It's cheaper to manufacture that way, and that way they could do this gray instead of this red. It leaves one extra color they don't need to put on here. Again, if you'll notice, also the marks on the wings, and the front here, they're all in exactly the same spots, exactly the same paint. They just took these under the same exact sprayer, and they were done with it. But yeah, these look pretty good. I like them together. I'm going to get some flight stands for these guys and kind of put them up like coming out like this or maybe higher. I don't know. I haven't decided yet, but I think these are very nice. I'm really glad I got them. So yeah, they're pretty cool. Anyway, in conclusion, there you have the 3-pack of Rainmakers from Target. These figures are very good figures. If you don't have the Rainmakers or you're trying to complete a Generation 1 collection, especially from the cartoon, then you should pick this up. If you're just casually collecting the Siege line and want all the Seekers, you should pick it up. If you don't, you can probably let this one slide. They're great. They're more for a niche market, a niche part of the collectors that want all the Seekers. If you went and got a whole bunch of Seekers from Classics, it looks to be going that way again. We will have 4 exclusive figures, Seekers, from Target. That's a lot of Seekers, because you still have the other 3 Seekers, which is Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywar. And then you have 4 on top of that. That makes for a lot of the same mold. They are decent. They are very fun. They're very bright colored. Very nice. The downsides are that, and they all have exactly the same scuff marks on them. Even Starscream has exactly the same scuff marks in exactly the same areas. And I'm wondering if Thundercracker and Skywarp will have the same ones too. I wish they would have varied it up a little bit. However, I'm going to display these in Tetrajet mode on some stands, because I like that they can have stands, which are very nice. And I think they'll look really good on my shelf. So please, if you like this video, press the like button. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. Hit the downvote button if you have to. But I'll see you next time.